Hey there, welcome back to Geeky Greenhouse. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about hosta plants and show you how to plant one in your garden. Hostas are one of the most popular perennials for shade gardens. There are hundreds of different varieties of hosta available. As you can see, I have 4 different varieties here. Here is a white Christmas hosta. There's a blue Hawaii. This is a wishing well hosta. And this one here is the Dancing Queen. Hostas used to be part of the lily family, but they're now actually part of the asparagus family. What you may not know is that every single part of the hosta is edible. I'll leave a link to some recipes below if you're interested in trying your hostas in the kitchen. Hostas are incredibly low maintenance. They're also very easy to find. You may have friends and family that are growing hostas and they might be willing to divide them for you. You can also find them easily in your local nursery, or you can check places like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and typically get some really good deals. Hostas are suitable for zones 3 through 9, and they really are a great way to add some foliage and color to your shade garden. When choosing the ideal spot for your hosta, you do want to find a place that has mainly shade or dappled sunlight. However, if you have one of the yellow variety hostas, they will benefit from a few hours of morning sunlight, where blue hostas actually prefer more shade. A good rule of thumb is the bigger the leaf of the final mature hosta plant, the more shade it prefers. If you're not sure how big the mature hosta will be sure to look into the specific variety that you have. I'll leave a link to an article below on Geeky Greenhouse where we have a list of common varieties of hosta and what their mature size is expected to be. It's also important to note that hostas are susceptible to sun scald. If they get too much sun, you'll notice that the edges of the leaves begin to burn or turn yellow or brown. When it comes to soil, we always recommend that you get a good soil test to see what nutrients your soil may be lacking. While hostas do prefer good, moist, nutrient-dense soil, they are very tough, resilient plants, and they will do okay in poor soil conditions. However, today we're going to give our hostas a little scoop of compost and try to get them off to the best start possible. When it comes to spacing your hostas, it really does depend on the variety, as some of them are much smaller and others grow to be really large. So you, again, will want to check on the final size of the mature hosta variety that you're planting. The smaller varieties can be placed 1 feet apart, where some of the larger varieties do need about 3 feet. If you notice holes in your hostas, it is worth noting that sometimes the holes just form naturally as the leaf is unfurling, but it also may be that slugs or snails are to blame for those holes. Unfortunately, deer and rabbits also love to munch the leaves of hostas, and they can completely devastate a plant. However, we have a great video on Geeky Greenhouse that talks all about natural rodent deterrents and how to keep rabbits and deer away from your garden. If you're not interested in building a fence, there are some other things you can do to protect your hosta plants. You can also plant slug-resistant varieties of hostas if you notice that you're having a lot of issues with slugs. The June hosta is a beautiful variety that has nice thick leaves and is very slug-resistant. Also worth noting, there is a fast-spreading hosta virus known as HVX. In fact, before people really knew a lot about the virus, they thought that the mottled leaves were due to a new variety, so there were diseased plants that were being given new variety names because they thought they were just unique hostas. However, if you suspect that one of your hostas may have HVX, it is really important to keep it away from your other plants, and you can send a sample away to get tested. There's also some really good apps nowadays where you can scan the Plantain, and sometimes it's good at recognizing if your plant has a disease or virus. You do not want to compost any diseased hostas, and you do not want to divide them, and certainly don't give them away to your friends or family. So, with that being said, let's go outside and put one of these in the ground. Alright, so I picked the perfect spot here for the wishing well hosta. So I dug out a hole that is about the depth of the container and a little bit wider than the container, so you could do 2 containers wide. And before I put the hosta in, I am going to just give it a little shovelful of compost to help get it off to a good start. And hostas will do very well even in the poorest of soil conditions, so you don't have to overthink it too much. And gently massage the roots a little bit. Careful not to disturb them too much. But you can just pop her right in and backfill the soil. So you want to make sure the hosta is upright and just pack the soil down. And to be honest, this is kind of a random and neglected part of our backyard that we're just trying to add a little bit of foliage to. So this soil is it's pretty rocky, but the compost will help too. And after you put the hosta in the ground, you just want to give it a good watering. So this variety looks pretty small right now, but it actually is going to get pretty big. It will take several years for your hosta to finally reach its mature size. It's not necessary that you divide your hostas, but it is a good thing to do to kind of control their size, and also a good way to share with your family and friends. Keep in mind that hostas love water. You do want to make sure that your hosta is getting plenty of water. The more water it gets, the better it'll grow. And if you want, you can mulch around your hosta for aesthetic reasons or to keep weeds at bay. It'll also help with moisture retention. So that's all. Tell us in the comments below what hosta varieties you're growing this year. We would love to hear your tips and learn more about what the community is growing. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.